If you've been looking at buying a pour over, maybe looking to upgrade, you may have noticed that Hario now has a couple different versions of their V60. What are the differences, and is one better than another? Let's find out. Hello, my name is Stephen Holm and I'm with Homegrounds. We're devoted to helping you brew and enjoy better quality coffee right at home. If you're new around here, if you'd like to subscribe and like this video, that would be great. That helps us out a lot, being able to make these types of videos. So it's a win-win. I guess YouTube probably likes it too. So win-win-win. Alright, so the Hario V60. This is one of my all-time favorite brewers. I have used this for years and I love the coffee that you can make with it. And last year, Hario released two new kind of versions of the V60. We have the W60 and the Switch. Both are kind of iterations of this design, but they have their own unique features and brew slightly different cups of coffee. Now this video isn't going to be an in-depth brew guide of either of these brewers. If that's something you'd like, let us know in the comments down below. But this video is more tailored to if you are looking at buying a V60 and you're not sure which one is best for you, which one might make better coffee. Well, that's what we're here for. We're gonna help you by going through each brewer, pros and cons, and how they differ from one another. So we're just gonna hop right in, looking at each one individually, starting with the original V60. Alright, so the original Hario V60. Like I said before, probably my favorite brewer of all time. I love the coffee that I can get out of this. It is consistent, I know how it works, it's wonderful. They come in 3 different sizes. You have the 01, 02, and 03, and a bunch of different materials. This one is plastic. They also make them in glass, ceramic, metal, copper. I think that's it. But Hario is just known for making great products, and that's what this is. The V60 is pretty well known for being very out of the way of your coffee brewing. In other words, every little thing that you do to make your coffee, from your grind size, your dose, how you pour, all these little things, those are all going to shine in the V60. And that can be good or bad. Good in a way that you really have full control and you can really get an amazing cup of coffee out of these. But bad if you're a beginner, say, and you're not super comfortable with your techniques. This may not be the best brewer for you. There's really not much else to say. The V60 is a wonderful coffee brewer. But let's move on to one of the newer brewers, the Switch. Alright, so the Hario Switch. This is a really interesting brewer that they came out with. It is essentially just a regular glass V60 on the top, but underneath that brewer is a little ball, marble, bearing sort of thing. And that can either be blocking the brew, so no liquid is able to flow out of the brewer, or you can press this little lever and it allows all the coffee to drain down. It is what's called a steep and release brewer. Another example of that is the clever dripper, meaning that you are able to put all of your coffee, all of your water in here at once, mix them together, let them sit, and then draw it all down. It's a different brewing method altogether. It allows some different flavors to shine through, but you can also use this as just a standard V60 by leaving it open all the time. This comes in 2 different sizes. They have this, the 02 and the 03. Unfortunately, it only comes in glass, so if you're prone to breaking things like me, might not be the best option for you. This silicone base is really nicely made. It feels really sturdy, and I really enjoy this brewer. The versatility of having your standard V60, but also a steep and release brewer all in one is pretty great. I think it's really great for beginners who say maybe don't own a gooseneck kettle, but want to get into manual brewing, and maybe someday they'll get really into it and get a gooseneck kettle and really dial in their whole workflow. Well, this brewer can grow with you. It can be a steep and release brewer at first, where your grind size and your pouring control aren't as important, but then when you get to those later stages and you're really diving into all the variables, this brewer can yield great results. So that is the Switch. Let's move right on to the W60. So this is the W60. It was made in conjunction with Pete Licata, who was the 2013 World Barista Champion. And side note, I stood in an elevator with him one time, and I was very scared. He's probably a very nice guy, but just his presence, and I was a young little barista trying to get into barista competitions at the time. Just him standing next to me in that elevator, I felt very intimidated. The W60 only comes in one size. This is equivalent of the O2 version of the V60, and it only comes in the ceramic, which it is pretty heavy, not really travel friendly, and prone to breaking maybe. Now, Pete and Hario did something interesting with this brewer, and they actually have the standard sort of V60 here in ceramic, but then also a mesh filter with it. This filter was designed in order to give you a lot of versatility with the W60, and having this, which has a flat bottom versus a cone bottom in the W60 or V60. And also, you can just brew with this and not need paper filters. This mesh filter is very, very fine. You can barely see the holes in this, and it's made really well. I really like this filter. But you can also use this in conjunction with a paper filter. So you get the benefits of a flatbed brewer in consistency and even extractions, but then also the benefits of a paper filter, which is really interesting. Now, this section of the W60 differs a little bit from the V60. It is slightly bigger. You can see that it is just a little bit wider, slightly taller, and the inside actually has deeper ridges, and those ridges are set a little bit further apart. The last interesting thing about the W60 is, according to Pete, you not only have 3 ways to brew, meaning the mesh, the paper, and the mesh with the paper, but there's also more if you get creative.
W60 is designed to be used in 3 different ways, or more if you get creative.
Is this what you're thinking, Pete? Because I don't know if it's gonna work. Not really sure what he meant by that, but Pete, if you're watching, please enlighten me. Pete would never watch this, what am I thinking? So we went over the features of each brewer. I'm gonna throw the prices of each on the screen right here, and you can see that the V60 is much cheaper than the other options, especially the plastic ones, so take that into consideration. But what are the pros and cons of each versus one another? The V60, it is tried and true. You have the most sizes, the most materials that it comes in. Now, it is going to be less forgiving, and the other two are going to be a little more forgiving with their versatility, and that's the other thing. This isn't as versatile. You pretty much have one way that you can brew with it, whereas these have multiple. Now, the W60. It is the most versatile brewer, especially with Pete's claim of there being 3+ ways to brew it.
You get creative.
It has the benefit of being a flat bottom brewer or a cone bottom brewer, which is really nice. And then you also have the option to not use paper filters. Now, things I don't like about this brewer, and this first one is a really small one, but Hario is making all these claims about how you can use it with the mesh filter and paper, or just with paper, but they don't include any paper filters when you buy it, at least mine didn't. It's such a little thing, but if I didn't already have V60 filters, I would order this and then be a little disappointed that it didn't come with any. So I'd have to go back and order V60 filters, and it's not a deal breaker, it's just a slight annoyance for me. And another downside with this one, there is just one size, one material. It's a little bit bulky and sort of awkward. Meh. And then with the Switch, this is also a very versatile brewer. I know I said this was maybe a little bit more, but with this, you can do immersion or percolation brewing by either doing steep and release or just a regular pour over with it. And then with the steep and release, you can also get really creative. I've been really enjoying playing with different stages of brewing with this brewer. So an example would be I'd pour 50 grams, release, let all of the coffee draw down, and then close that again, pour another 50 grams, release it, let it all draw down, and I've been getting really interesting results with this. Now it does have a couple downsides. First, it only comes in glass. So if you think you break things a lot, then this is definitely not the brewer for you. But then also it is pretty expensive for a pour over brewer at like $45. So it's quite the investment. But that investment is coming with a couple different brewers in one, and so that might be worth it for you. Now I will say, all of these are capable of making really delicious coffee. I've been brewing with all of them for a while, and you can get really delicious results. So don't let that sway you in any way. I would say that if you are looking for something really simple that you can really dial in, the original V60 is a great option for you. If you're looking for something with some versatility and the option to brew without paper filters, W60 is a great option. But if you're looking for something that you can really play around with and test different variables and steep and release, the Switch is a really great brewer. So hopefully this video was helpful for you in being able to decide which one might be best for you. If you have any additional questions, please leave them in the comments below. Like I said before, if you wouldn't mind subscribing and liking this video, that really helps us make these videos. And that is about it for today. So until next time, happy brewing.